If you have a child in youth sports or are thinking about registering them, you'll want to hear this. Our friends at Oklahoma Watch recently published an investigation into stay-to-play business models. In other words, do you know the real cost of having your child or children in traveling sports? Reporter Jennifer Palmer has been digging into this and has more. Good morning, Jennifer. Tell us, what is stay-to-play? What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's essentially when families travel to youth sports tournaments, and this is happening in all different sports. We found it in soccer, softball, volleyball, hockey. They travel to this tournament. The tournament says you can only participate in this tournament if you book a hotel from this specific list of hotels. And families are forced to choose from that list. Oftentimes those hotels are higher priced than what they could get elsewhere. They are not able to, say stay with a relative or take their RV or, do some other form of, lodging that they would rather do. And they risk getting their child or the whole team actually withdrawn from the tournament if they don't comply.
Then I want to expand on that. So these youth tournaments, they already have registration fees. You have to pay that. And then they funnel you to stay at certain hotels. So what if you don't want to stay there?
Many of these families that I talked to said they feel really stuck. They feel like they have to do it even though they don't want to, because they don't want to risk, hurting the whole team or, their child not being able to play. Now, there are a few tournaments that we found, especially in certain sports like softball, that offer what's called a buyout. And that is just an additional fee. We found those ranging from $500 to even $2,000 or more for the team to have the ability to book their own hotel. So that's just a fee that would go straight to the tournament for no purpose other than giving them the freedom to book their own lodging.
What are some of the other things that the parents told you and those that you talked to who are trying to get their kids into tournaments, want to participate? What did they tell you?
Yeah, I talked to quite a few parents for this story. I mean, first of all, youth sports are very expensive. They're, especially, these competitive teams, you're talking thousands of dollars usually per season, per child. And that's just for, the club fees, the uniforms, the coach, things like that. And then travel is actually the most expensive part. And so these families are sacrificing a lot to be able to travel to these tournaments, and then they're paying these hotel fees on top of that unknowingly. I mean, many parents said, just tell us what it costs, just make it transparent, just make it a fee. If you need more money for the tournament, just tell us that, rather than forcing us to book hotels where the kickbacks then go back to the tournament.
So what are the tournament organizers then saying about this?
I reached out to quite a few, and I did talk to the Dallas Stars. They are a professional ice hockey team, and they run a lot of tournaments. In fact, they're very big in Texas and Oklahoma because the Ice Hockey League here plays in Texas. First of all, they had to pause their stay to play at some point in this current season. So in the fall, they paused it. And they say that, teams were disappointed, actually, that they could no longer use this service and that they had to book their own hotel rooms. But every parent that I talked to said the rooms are not of value when they come through the stay to play. And the Dallas Stars, did tell me that they do make some money off of it. I mean, it is a profit for the team. They did say it was minimal, but it does provide profit.
And finally, you mentioned this in the article. Can they legally do this, do you think?
So that was a big question I had starting on this reporting. It feels like, here in America, with our values and principles and laws, that you would not be able to force somebody to buy something they don't want to buy. So I did talk to several attorneys, and they had pointed out a federal antitrust law that does prohibit bundling one item with another. They both looked at some of these tournaments and the examples that I sent them of, how the tournaments are phrasing this and how they're requiring these hotel stays. And they said that a lot of it does meet the elements for this antitrust law. So it's possible that some of these could violate the law.
It's fascinating, and you can read this article for yourself by Jennifer Palmer at oklahomawatch.org. We'll link it to our website as well, newson6.com. Jennifer, thank you for your time.